What's up, everyone? It is I, Adam Prime, and we are back for another TokuBrew podcast this week in Toku. And with me, as always, is the always dashing and always lovely.
Hi, I'm Stormy. I'm Stormy. I'm dashing and lovely.
I feel like I use that a lot.
Probably.
And we are back from talking about Gachard, but this week we're talking about episodes of KingOhger, episodes 37 through 45,
Oh,
and
yeah.
we have a lot to say about these episodes. If you thought we didn't have what we had to say about Gachard, we have so much more to say, and so much more that we are like, we called it.
Yeah, I hope you guys are in for, like, what, a 3-hour podcast?
I hope not.
Probably. Hopefully not.
As,
I won't make any promises.
as we left off last time, they had just reclaimed... I think they reclaimed Ishiban.
Himino's. Yeah, Ishiban.
Because they poisoned the doctors.
Mm-hmm.
And now we are going back to the food, because we immediately just open up with tofu
Secure the
on
hospitals,
fire.
secure the food.
Exactly. Like, I like how you just see Kuroda just on fire with the...
This is bad.
Yeah, just the...
It's very meme material right there. I kind of love it.
And everyone thinks...
Just a little smiling face.
Yeah, and everyone thinks that it was Kaguragi. And, you know, we kind of just get to learn his past and everything, because we find out that...
Finally get to see this.
That, Grody has brought back the former ruler.
The gluttonous ruler who betrayed her people.
And we find out, actually, we get to see her both, like, evil and, like, before evil, I guess you could call it.
Before and after the black lipstick.
Yeah, exactly. Pretty much before listening to punk rock. I don't know.
Something like that.
Oh, also, I think this is the first time we're going to see Grody's monster form.
Yeah, pretty interesting.
It's like a gross eye thing.
Headlamp, cowboy hat.
Thing. And
I don't know, it's cool.
Yeah,
it looks like a miner a little bit.
And we just pretty much learn his history here. Like, I don't, like, how in-depth do you want to go, but it's pretty much learning... Like, what was the story? Why did they have to rebel? And you find out, like, that his family's rice was chosen by the queen, or whatever her title was, to be, like, Tofu's most put out rice, I guess you could say. And, like, to teach all the other farmers how to do it. And, like, everyone kind of acknowledges how nice and well-taught the queen was before she suddenly went crazy.
Mm-hmm. So, I don't know, you want me to just give, like, a quick summary, or...
Like, I don't know, what do you have to say about this episode?
This was super interesting, because I feel like...
Also,
it really shows the... What?
We also just... It makes... I'm realizing, we wonder how old Kaguragi is in these scenes because of later episodes, but we'll get to that when we get to it. Yeah,
just taking a good look of... How old you guys think these guys look? Young, strapping lad.
Like, look at... Like,
Young,
is it weird that
Suzume
Suzume's in, like, a schoolgirl outfit?
All things considered, kinda no. Also, we just learned Kaguragi's old. Old man.
Well, kinda. But, and we pretty much find out that, like... What? Go.
I don't know, you interrupted me, and I was just seeing what you were talking about, and then you just kept going.
Okay, go.
The most important parts with this, why I think it's pretty interesting, important sort of idea, it really shows that Tofu is basically, like, every single character seems to have, like, the same...
line of thinking.
A way of, like, being so discreet about, like, and knowing, like, how to tell lies in a way that gets to the outcome that you want with basically nobody knowing.
Exactly.
Like, it feels like the people that rule are the masters of this, and that does come into play.
And, like, yeah, because you find out Kaguragi's, like, a very honest boy.
Yeah, he's an honest farmin' lad.
Yeah.
And she chooses him to be her retainer, basically. And the majority of what we see happens is that she suddenly hoarded all of this rice and hid it under the castle during a famine. And then...
Because the Fury of the Gods is happening.
The Fury of the Gods happens, and everything is on fire. Literally, everything is on fire, so the only food that they are going to have...
Is that rice.
Is that rice that is under her castle that she's not giving out to anybody. and
Kaguragi serves her.
and like they're basically going like full like pitchforks and torches, about to go and just be like, "Yeah, we're taking this rice."
Yeah, and like Kaguragi's just like, yeah.
At least let me try and talk to her first because he's the closest to her at the moment. And so what actually happens, because we've had this air of just
what this was.
What is this woman actually like? And like what happened was the rice was poisoned.
Yeah.
Like, and of course it was because of Grody's doing and everything.
Or one of the jesters, who knows. It was poisoned. They poisoned the water hole.
Either way, it was poisoned.
No, it's fine.
Like, just because, well, I don't know. Like, he's kind of the one that's distributing all of the poison and stuff.
I bet you, yeah, he probably is. And you find out pretty much, like, she just eats the bowl of rice, and you just see her kind of fall over from the bowl.
I don't know. Like, I was gonna say what actually happens, but like,
yeah,
I don't know. Like, at this point, I don't know what's revealed and what isn't because it's been a little bit. Like,
well, we find out all this stuff with her in this episode. Like, you know what I mean? Like, we immediately...
She was protecting her people and dirtying her hands for her country. The whole thing of this is, like, if you are going to be the ruler of Tofu, you have to be willing to have your hands stained as black as the soil itself for your people.
Exactly, and, like, that's what Kaguragi learns this day after she pretty much kills herself.
Yeah, she basically, like, kills herself. It's just like, here, you need to look like you killed me, and then they will follow you.
Yeah, so she hands him his sword and her medallion, and he is now the Lord of Tofu.
Mm-hmm.
And like that's kind of where it ends, and like you kind of see him in the modern day say like, I'm sorry and you shouldn't have to leave, you are meant to rule, but this is no place for the dead.
Yeah, and just I guess the respect of just like, wow, she really did like give the ultimate price to save the country.
And that was pretty much that episode. They get Tofu back, they kick Grody out, and we now have 2 out of the 5 countries back on the map. And next episode is a very interesting one, to say the least.
Oh my god, I'm screaming this whole time. This was a great episode. It's about Rita.
Okay, I'm just going to say what the baseline of this is. Rita is an idol now. She is an idol. She is doing several different...
For the Galactic Insect King.
Yeah, and like the weird Morgius guy, or whatever his name is being really kind of odd. Like, he looks like he's made out of matches, but he's talking like, hey, it is I, a producer man. Like, that's how he's talking. And Rita is putting on so many different outfits and shows.
Well, they start off in this very cutesy, like, cat ears, kind of thing. It's like, okay, and this is what he's into right now. And it shows, like, some...
like, boy band
thing. And they're like, hold on! And then Naruto run away. And then come back. And honestly, Rita looks hot in this outfit. This, like...
she's acting great. Well, they're acting great.
Yeah, just, like...
I don't even know what to say anymore.
Like, dang! Like, they slay in that outfit. But, And like, everyone's, like, kind of into it. It's
everyone's
really
just believing they're gonna be like, oh my god, you can be a
yeah,
idol, and she's just like, no guys, I'm undercover, don't fucking start shit.
I'm trying to investigate the Galactic Insect King, and they're just like, it's okay, you're allowed to show your emotions and be an idol like how you secretly dreamed about it, and then just like,
also they bring back the outfits from Den-O. Like, these outfits
these mascots have been around.
Like, they have been around since Den-O, and I love that this is what she's having the thing with Himino, and just being so mad that everyone is not understanding that she is just doing this to get information. And then once they like,
she does Rita's there.
She does a MUFON collab.
Oh, we forgot to mention that they have like America's Got Talent set up with like the ninja, the fungi, and like MUFON.
Oh yeah, MUFON.
They bring in a real just J-pop idol. That's like, oh my gosh, am I on a tokusatsu shoot? Apparently, again, I looked into it a little bit. I don't know who they are, but very much just like J-pop idol that's been around for a while.
I love that, that Marfonia just says, you guys just don't get Rita. But then we have like this stone cold bitch stare from Hino. Also, look at all the MUFONs.
How dare Rita slay more than me? Then, like, even Jeremy is, like, getting into it. He has the glasses and the glow sticks, and I was so happy.
I like how nobody believed her
No one believed Rita, but they're just like, I'm just trying to be undercover because they like get like another really cute outfit.
Yeah, and that's pretty much that episode. They kick them out of Gokon, and Gokon is back on the map.
Yeah.
That is that episode, which was a fun episode.
It
we
was
kind
so
of needed
fun.
that after the last episode.
Oh, you know what? I totally forgot to mention it, but that was something that I actually was like kind of criticized against Gachard of just it doesn't know you have to have fun moments in a very serious plot. You need to know when to bring people down and have a fun time and get a breather, because if you just have sadness, tragedy, all the terrible things are happening, everything's blowing up and you're gonna die all the time, it's not fun. You have to like take small moments to like relax and care about these characters. It's almost like torture. It's best if you give them breaks. That's how you torture us.
This next episode was actually pretty intense because it's just setting up that they want to take back Enkisopa. Like they are like, hey,
let's do this.
I have all these computers, and all one of us have to make it to the tower.
Because I'm not going to tell you what's a dummy and what isn't.
And so everyone has one, and you're immediately just being like, well, they're all fake then, right? Like, but nobody knows which one. So it's like everyone has to make it to a tower, and they're trying to unlock this special sequence from their Ohger calibers, like because you find out that something
is in their sword. There's something in there.
Yeah, and like this will unlock it. And it's pretty much just them running, having some epic fights. Like there's weirdly not a lot to talk about in this episode.
It's a lot of action.
It's just a lot of action.
But I will say early on, you will probably notice, the CGI looks kind of off. In fact, it even looks kind of bad in a few places. This very much threw us off, but you're a little bit more critical. I think it makes a little bit more sense because how do you want to describe what happens? How do you want to describe what happens?
So they finally get to the tower somehow, even after everyone thinks that all of theirs got broken.
I forget exactly what happened. I think it was basically like
I
only needed to get in here. I just needed to get in here. These were just like these were what's it called?
A fake.
This was like a
false.
No, when like you like draw someone's eye away from what you're doing.
Oh, a sleight of hand.
A little bit.
But like
I don't think that's quite what I was going for, but that's close enough.
But yeah, like and
it was a distraction.
Which I forget, what do they call them? Fangs of Defiance or something? They go to Fangs of Defiance mode.
This is why the CGI is kind of bad and everywhere else, because oh my god, do they crank everything up to 11 in this?
All of the bugs.
All of the bugs get all of these like
even
add-ons. I swear the butterfly becomes a moth, and I love it. And they all get the things from the intro sequence.
Yeah, do you guys remember the intro and they got all those legs and stuff? They did it in the show now.
Love it. I've been waiting for it.
And the Yudo toys can actually do that. Sadly, I do not own any of the Super Mini Claw versions, so I can't do that. But we do get like this sick arrow with Kuwagon's horns. That was pretty cool. But like everything just gets big and powerful.
It's just like because like their whole thing was like, we are going to kill one of these guys, and after they land that blow, they all just kind of like they all like grab hands and they all just like share a moment of just,
we're gonna kill you.
We just did this thing, because like at the last second, the ninja and the leech girl,
Gorama,
who they thought that they were going to kill, switch and they kill the ninja guy instead.
Yeah, so Gorama's dead.
So he's full on dead.
And like Kirobeer's gotta live for another day, and then you see Reculus just being like, "Oh yes, just as I planned. I wanted him to die without even lifting a finger."
Yeah, well,
and then the Galactic Insect King was very impressed by this, and Reculus reveals he wants to become one of the 5 jesters, which we're just
he says like, "Oh, if you're gonna be a jester, you need to be clever." And I feel like I displayed it by opening a spot for myself without even lifting a finger, because what he did was he was using Kaguragi to give certain information to, and also told Leech Lady, you remembered her name, right?
Hirobeerus,
heebie-jeebie.
Heebie-dee-beebie.
And he warned her, it's just like, hey, you might want to plan a switch out because this is what's going to happen. She's like, that's not going to happen. They're not powerful. It's like, well, do you want to take that chance?
Damn. And we pretty much have all 4 countries back. And we find out right after, like, all of the people are fucked up from this.
Oh, yeah, like it
except
wrecked
for Gyra.
them. Except for Gira, yeah.
Gira, everyone even asked, they're like, how are you still standing?
Better than I ever did.
And we pretty much just have, like, Duga trying to save people, and then Gabutira comes to help. And And then that's when Gyra shows up to come save Duga.
And Prince shows up!
Yeah,
We
for,
get
like-
Princey boy!
Yeah, like,
Love
he's-
his cute face.
yeah.
Wanna pinch his cheeks.
Yeah, so yeah, Prince is
Pinky.
back from the KingOhger, which, by the way, we did find out we are getting a KingOhger crossover movie.
Woohoo!
And a Dawn Brothers crossover movie, so
Woohoo!
so that's gonna be fun. And I like that he's just like, oh, I finally found you, Gabutira. And it's just
I've
like,
been looking everywhere for you.
yeah, it's like, dude, you had one job: keep track of your T-Rex.
One job.
And
Protect the T-Rex.
and like pretty much you just have Gyra on his own in this episode, because even after he gets
Everyone
him
is
back,
just beaten.
and like he even asks, because Prince asks, he's like, hey, do you guys need help? He's like, how are you guys doing? We're
Okay.
all right, I guess.
So you're just like, you know what? You go handle your stuff.
yeah, it's like you obviously have
Yeah,
stuff
buddy.
you need to, but we do get to see King KingOhger again.
Oh, we have a really funny sequence where Gira is being Gira and like trying to help the others, but is making things worse. Of
Yeah.
like, oh my gosh, like what's wrong? And he grabs them. They're like, I'm broken and that hurts. And then and then he like slips and he falls onto Rita and almost kills them.
Yeah,
See
and they're like
Mufon beckoning them from the afterlife.
They're like, I'm dying. Move on, please. And then you find out one of the
And
biggest
then-
twists of them all, what Gyra is.
Okay, so Reculus is broadcasting this to everybody and then reveals, yes, this is Reculus, because remember, he still had the mask. He had to take him off it
Yeah.
off for them.
Yeah,
What are you doing?
I'm sorry.
I was checking. That was helping me. What's wrong with you? Again, we're using our screen. I'm using the screenshots to tell where I am in the episode. There
Yeah.
was a lot. And he's just like, "Hi, I'm alive. Here is God, basically."
And like
And guess what? He
created.
KingOhger.
Well, yeah. He calls them the anthropods, but the shoe gods, he created them.
Mhm.
And Gyra is his heir because he can control them. It was his gift to the Shugadam King.
So Gira is
Is almost a
his creation.
yeah. Is literally Dugadid Galactic Insect King. I'm just gonna call him that because it's easier to say. Weirdly enough, that's why he has these special powers. He has his immortality, so that's why Gyra can't die.
And he even demonstrates it by like forcing Gira, who's on the verge of tears because he doesn't want to turn into
KingOhger.
summon KingOhger. I don't think he's inside.
He just summons and like forms extreme
And
KingOhger.
then just basically goes on a rampage with like what, 2 other like big Bugnark, was it, or something? Robots? I don't remember.
But yeah, he
They
immediately.
die. It doesn't matter. But
Well, yeah, and he's about to destroy the city with KingOhger just like to prove a point that
And-
like Gyra's evil and like the one like he wants people to believe that Gyra's the one doing this because the Galactic Insect King took over Gyra's body for that second, and like you see him
and
start
Reculus,
making
I will save the people.
and you see and you even see like him mocking Gyra as he's on the ground, and he's like, you just finally see Gyra take a stance of defiance along with KingOhger against the King's Galactic Insect King control, and he's like, I'm not gonna let you fuck with us anymore. Let's fucking go.
Also, you get a really good shot of the little water bear dude inside his head.
Yeah, you do.
He really is just kind of a water bear, which I think is like a great little hint, because water bears are technically immortal.
And that is when like the others show up, and we then start going into the next episode, which is just Reculus's evil plan.
Mm-hmm.
He's about to set sail and go to another planet to pretty much start the cycle over again. Like,
Yeah.
that is what he's setting up.
I think what he says is like,
The chosen people.
like, I don't know if it's too early, but something along the lines of like, humanity is like a virus that's really good to like really easy to spread, and he likes wiping them out.
Yeah.
So they like humanity's just really good at resistance, so that's why he lets them live, because he can kill them over and over again.
Well, yeah, that, and it's like the Galactic Insect King even says, he's like, the kings of Shugadam have always known how to keep me happy for 2,000 years.
Which is
He's, by the way, holding the toy of the castle, by the way.
yeah, like Reculus gives like a whole interactive demonstration, because of course
With balls.
he does.
And yeah, he is literally having everyone sit on whoopee cushion bombs.
Which I was just like, that's petty and awesome.
And you also have where they can't get up, and they have Hirabiris go around and try to get the others to blow up. And
because they're trying to
changed.
get them to move because the whole things are connected to like their thrones basically. Like, and the leech lady made all of the retrainers basically try to tempt them from leaving their space.
Yeah, and he immediately also tells the Galactic Insect King what he needs. He's like, well, if Gyra's like you, I can't kill him. I want the power to kill Gyra, the power to kill an immortal. And so him and Gyra start fighting.
And honestly, what I thought in this, like, when I was watching this, I was like, oh, he's going for the Galactic Insect King's throne.
Well,
he wants to rule over everything. We're not going to spoil anything. Those were just my thoughts in the moment.
But yeah,
but, like,
by the way,
we
are about to
he's
get into spoilers.
He's got to be gunning for his throne. He wants to rule over everything.
Honestly, I'm glad that we had none of this spoiled for us.
Oh, I'm so happy.
Because it's like, honestly,
I wasn't on
it's
that
been
corner
a little
of the
bit.
internet.
But yeah, so we immediately have Gyra and him.
They almost boiled
Reculus...
Mufon, by the way.
Yeah.
I was trying to hint towards that. They almost boiled Mufon.
Yeah, Reculus immediately does the saying again of the people are means, but I am the nation.
Hold on. You did skip over one thing. The fact that Kagaragi actually stood up from his throne. It was just like, hey guys, sorry, I gotta go. And they're just like, what?
Oh yeah, but your bombs are real though.
Your bombs are real, but mine's not. Bye. And then he just leaves.
Yeah, he just leaves. He's like, I'll explain to you guys later. And
Gira and Reculus are going at it.
Yeah, and Gira and Reculus are going at it, and like Gyra even breaks down and says, it's like, my vision of the king was you.
You're the one that told me all of these things. Like, you could still be that. And he's like, naive. What a fool.
And then that's when Kagaragi comes out with the spear, much like last time.
Because he asked Gira for it, didn't he? Oh, did we not get
Gyra?
that?
We didn't get it.
Like,
Gyra
do you
asked
trust me with this? Because he was the free one, and I think that he was exhausted or something, so he asked for it, right?
Well, yeah, but then he gives it to Reculus. He transforms, nearly kicks Gyra's ass.
And then he's just like, come on,
okay, wait, pause here.
Okay.
We are going to, from this point forward, I feel like you should have watched the episodes. And honestly, you probably watched these episodes before we did.
Probably.
But we at least want to, guys, give you a moment before we get into major spoilers. Because this
Everything changes
is amazing.
after this fight. Everything changes.
Because the Galactic Insect King does his word and says, okay, you're here. Let me give you the power to kill an immortal. And you better believe...
we're about to have the best goddamn redemption arc we have ever fucking seen.
He stabs the Galactic Insect King. He feels pain for the first time.
I was just like, come on. This is, because I remember we had to pause just as people. Just for, like, I was like, I needed a minute because, like, right before that happened, I was like...
Is that when an episode ends, actually? I
think it might end there.
And then we get into the episode that's called The Secrets of King Reculus, and it's Kagaragi telling the story.
Okay, cool. I was in the middle of something.
Okay, go on.
So, I was like, I needed to pause there because, like, right before, like, he stabbed the king, I was like, okay, this is where they're gonna go one of two ways with this character. He's either going to go for the king, or he's either gonna go for Gira. And I was like, I love both options because I was fully fine with Regulus being a bastard the whole time. But I really did hold out hope that they were going to do, like, the greatest redemption arc of all time. And oh boy, because that's one of my favorite tropes just in media is the redemption arc. And I'm eating good, guys. I'm eating good tonight.
And the two brothers stand side by side.
Finally!
Two brothers!
It's called Two
Brothers. And
I love that you, like, led up into saying spoiler warning and then never said it and then said the spoiler, by the way. Like, I was just like, if I were listening and I hadn't read it, hadn't been listening, I probably would have been pissed because you're like, hey, this is your chance and spoiler. Rather than, like, all right, walk away now. Like, I thought it was really funny.
And it's pretty much...
I'm really sorry if he made you guys mad because I probably would have been pissed.
But yeah, so we pretty much find out what happened 17 years ago, which would be when the Fury of the Gods was happening. And you literally see the Galactic Insect King riding Reculus like a horse. And it's fucking
and talking about, haha, just killed your dad.
Yeah, pretty much just your dad's dead. And
I'm going to be watching you closely.
Yeah, and he pretty much just says, and no, I'll always be watching, always judging. And he's like, but your first decree is king.
Not to do shit about all of these bugs.
Yeah, you're just going to watch and everything. And that's apparently when Reculus
decided. He's just like, all right, if
The Galactic Insect King has to die. Like, you...
and if I and then it's like and he pulls a Gira basically, just like,
I will become
I'm
the
the villain myself. Like,
and so it's like he was kind of shocked when Gyra's power awakened a lot sooner than he
early.
thought. Yeah. And we'll even find out more about that later. But that's why he created KingOhger Zero.
Which
so they had
actually
a version...
makes sense. Oh my gosh.
Because it
a
would...
repaint that makes sense. Because
and
it
like,
wouldn't be under his control.
Yeah, it's not under his control, so they have their own version of it. That's why he wanted the crown so early on. And he's like, and I like how you see him in that fight as he's causing the Galactic Insect King pain. He's like, this is what it feels like for every
Don't
race
you dare
did
run.
it for. Yeah, exactly. He's like, I wanted to make Gira stronger because he knew he had the powers to kick your ass.
He's like, no matter how strong I got, Gira was always going to be stronger. I had to keep pushing him so that he could probably... I did all of this. I led up to all of this just to give it to Gira.
Yeah, and he even mentions that he was using Kaguragi and Suzume when you thought it was the other way around. Mm-hmm. And you find out that Kaguragi kind of got on Regulus's side after the marriage because... Suzume didn't tell him what was going on, but just told him to trust him, and
one thing, he's just like, come on, we can get this marriage annulled, and you can come back to Tofu. Just say the word right now. And she's just like, he is a king. His heart lies with his people. You just gotta trust us, basically. And then Kagurai's like, all right, I'm in. And that actually does come into play later as well.
And I want to bring up this right now. So, because they were immediately getting into other little stuff and everything of like all his actions. And so it's like, I needed to be, and I like that both brothers had the same ideology. It's like, I don't care how I look. I just need to make sure the right thing is done.
And which I feel is awesome. Why Kaguragi works so well with them. It's just, I will dirty my hands no matter how much I have to, as long as it protects
But meanwhile,
my
you know, Regulus is so mad because he's like, you made me look like Hitler.
Yeah.
You asshole.
I would be so pissed. I'd just be like, you made me look like Hitler.
And you
I look like the worst person on this planet because of you. I am going to make you feel pain.
Well, then you find out, like, he also knew that the Galactic Insect King had a spy in his court, and he didn't know who it was, so he did not want to give up his throne to Gyra because...
He didn't know who the rat was, basically.
So it wasn't until he found out it was Boshemir, and he got outed as it...
Thank you, Kaguragi. The smartest move ever, making that one false, because you still would have found out who the spy was, no matter who it was in that instance. And so that's why he let Gyra win. He's like, you won over the people, and that's when he faked his death. Time. And that's why he faked his death. Oh my god, guys,
this
show is so good!
And you see Suzume find his dead corpse where it looks like he's like, I can't feel my everything.
Another thing that I really like with this, I questioned for a little bit how Regulus and Suzume's relationship actually was after learning this. I was like, oh, are they actually romantic, or is it more of a friendship with legal paperwork, basically? And I do want to let you guys know, like, there is actually, like, a bit of a romance between these people, and oh my god, they're so cute. Also,
we find out he did
unless I'm proven wrong later.
Which we did find out, that in the episode where Regulus used the poison wasn't actually the poison, it was still the sedative. Mm-hmm. We found out that was actually the honest the poison.
Yeah, they?
I think
there never was actual venom involved.
I think so. Like, you find out Regulus was like, oh yeah, this was a tranquilizer. So yeah, and then Regulus kind of like, because
it makes sense why Kaguragi would lie about that, though.
But yeah, like, the Galactic Insect King starts shooting out all these knives and literally stabs Regulus seemingly in the heart.
And Regulus just hating him on himself, and I was like, no!
For a man who became a jester, a pitiful jester.
And a coward. Like,
he just wants to free his family of this 2,000-year-long curse, and they actually killed the Galactic Insect King.
He turns into the water bear with the crown and the cape, and Gira protects him, and like, Gira's, like, he's like dying in Gira's arms, and then everybody shows up. Yeah. And everyone shows up like, don't worry, we've got this. And just, and like, Gira's just like, thank you.
And he's alive.
He lives. He lives. We see the trial of Reculus.
Yeah.
Once more.
So we learn his secrets, then his trial, which is just learning more history. And let's get this small little plot point right out of the way, because we have
Mushroom Man.
We have like the little whatever his name is, Stick Man, who has the ability to control time apparently, and he turns all of the other everybody, Jeremy, Himino, Gaira, Yama, and Kagaragi, back to being younger.
Like, I think it was like 15 years or
I don't
something
know.
like.
He said 10 years.
I don't know.
He feels
They're
10...
about this. This is what they used for like when they were the age of, except for Jeremy, like the age of when the power of the gods or the fury of the gods happened. So I'm guessing 15 years, except for probably Jeremy, who's probably more like 1500 years at least, maybe.
But, like, I think it's super funny that, like...
Kagaragi looks so fucking same.
He just looks way younger, and he's like, these muscles, it's like being 10 years old again. They're like,
you
what?
looked like that when you were 10, and he's like, look, I
Tofu,
work hard.
Tofu men get swole.
I get good rest, and I eat my vegetables, basically.
Like, that's pretty much what you learn.
So, yeah, there's a possibility. Remember, I told you to put a pin in that thing with...
that he was 10 years old?
He might have been 10 years old when he saw that lady kill herself in front of him, basically.
And you have Yama.
By the way, by this
Jeremy's
point, I'm realizing
mask.
it wasn't a spoiler for me to say that it was poisoned, because we already had the Galactic Insect King and everything, and we already knew that he was a jester. And that now we know that he's also been involved with everything for over 2,000 years. So yeah, it was him that poisoned that rice, if you didn't pick up on that. Again, I'm assuming you've seen this.
Yeah. So yeah, either way, the little kids have a little bit of a fight, but then we pretty much learn what Reculus's history is, and you find out about the first king, King Caucasus, I think his name is.
Something like that. It's their dad. Oh no, like the original king.
Yeah.
Or do you mean their dad? Who
yeah,
you mean
about? I mean their dad.
Okay.
And like you pretty much do get to find out like
Regulus tells Rita everything.
Yeah.
Again,
even
if you
the parts he wasn't there for.
If you couldn't tell, like he barely gets into it, and then the other ones are like, "Oh, we have to go. There's a dude attacking." So he's mainly just talking to Rita the whole time.
Yeah. So we see that the king and queen, the queen literally says nothing. Sorry. Ignore that phone call.
She literally doesn't even have a single line dialogue. We don't even hear her.
We don't even hear her name.
What?
All we know is the Galactic Insect King is just like, all right, as your gift for being loyal to me.
No, it was they were like, hey, we've been super loyal, and you want us to be super destructive and clean the universe? Can we actually have the power to do this? And he's like, okay. And then he hits the space button. He hits the space bar. Is just like, congratulations, it's a boy.
Yeah, exactly. And he's just...
The queen literally just falls over. Apparently she dies in childbirth.
Yeah, she just dies in childbirth, so we never know who this queen is. And can we just talk about this all now? You want to talk about the Rainbow Juria?
I don't know if I mentioned this in an
I know
actual
one of
episode.
us did.
Because I've been like, what is the deal with the Rainbow Juria? At some point when we were watching this, again, this has been like, we haven't actually recorded anything in a couple of months. If we hadn't mentioned this in here, we took a long break, but we still were watching KingOhger, and I was so adamant. I was just like, the fact that KingOhger does not have a soul, and like Ira has the special connection, everything, it must be. I had a theory that the Rainbow Juria, especially after we see that that's what the Bugnark eat. I was like, oh, what if that's what it was, and he's actually like kind of like Jeremy, and he's like part Bugnark for the longest time. I was kind of right, because that is in fact what Rainbow Juria was. It was KingOhger's fucking soul.
But you've turned out that it turns Gaira into like this violent monster, and he's supposed to become mindless and just be
a tool.
Pretty much a blank. If they would have given him more,
he loses more memories the more souls that he eats. Oh my god, do you think that's gonna be something that they do later? Like, he has to eat more souls to be more powerful, but he's gonna forget everybody?
I don't know, because it seems like it looks like they were doing it to awaken his powers.
I don't know,
faster.
that's a guess. But, like, yeah, that's just, like, oh my god. And then we actually see poor Boshemir, the actual person, who was actually really loyal and really cool and actually cared, get murdered!
by Kame
Off screen, but, like, man...
And like,
Man.
and then you had King Caucasus that just starts dying in front of Reculus and his brother.
I jokingly was like, how can you imagine if like a red, like, because he started coughing if like a little red spot spread across the white, but like no,
Then
apparently
he got blood in his hand.
they pulled it down. He got blood in his hand.
And like he even said, he's like, it's like, if you understand the pain of losing family, then imagine all the people who are feeling that from what the Galactic Insect King is
Even
doing.
said, just kill your emotions.
You must kill. It's like, and like that's what it means to be king. And like obviously Reculus doesn't believe in that, and he even tells Gyra he is going to protect him when he becomes king.
I don't care. He's my brother.
Exactly. Like he's not going to use him as a tool like his father was going to be.
But guess what?
And then you see his
basically,
father.
And this is where we learn. Like again, it's like the how'd you learn the things that you weren't present for thing.
First of all, we joked about this being kind of not as true as they say it is, because you see King Caucasus get like confronted by some of the jesters, and like he's there. It looks like he's about to fight, and he becomes KingOhger, and they were like, "Oh man, there was this sign of an incredible battle," and I'm like, "Could you imagine if he just fell over and died?"
and
and just like they're just like, "No, it was so big and impactful." Because like they didn't cut to it, you didn't see the fight.
I know, but like this also gets mentioned here, of like, it's a little bit of the joke of like, hey, you're telling the story, but how do you know about the stuff you weren't present for? But whatever, I guess. Of like, it turns out, I don't think even Reculus knows this, but like even the dad was tricking him of just like, it's been the goal of the king for thousands of years to just wait for the right moment to strike at the king, the Galactic Insect King. And even his dad was playing the villain to set Reculus up to go and do the right thing, which is a prominent theme in this family. It's just like how Tofu, like it's just.
He was also, I like that it's not that he wanted to use Gyra. He's like, I have no other choice, but I want to protect my family. And it's like, yes, does that count Gyra? I'm kind of cutting him out, but like, it's to protect you, it's to protect
It doesn't matter.
our people.
I'm protecting everyone.
Exactly. And it's like, it makes you feel bad because you also just see like this blank look for Gyra. And it's just like, it's so
Reculus.
Well, no, I'm talking about little baby Gyra when he's like,
he's
still
he's
under
like
the
sweating
influence.
and feverish.
Yeah, it's like he doesn't know what's going on.
He's gonna forget.
And then like they replay the scene where Reculus kind of fakes his loyalty to the king.
He's like, "Come on, let me have a shot at this."
And,
like, forget Gira. He doesn't matter because he hid Gira away in an orphanage. But he's like,
He was a defective tool, he called him.
Yeah, but
and
he feels so bad. He's like, I forced him into this life, and Rita even like, I remember like calms him down a bit. Like, he wasn't like hysterical or anything. He was just speaking, but Rita just like, he made those decisions himself.
Yeah, and like you even see Gyra because
when he's a kid, he actually like gets. I think he gets hit, or he hits him, and then he turns adult again.
Yeah,
and then he remembers all of this. He
remembers being that little kid.
And he actually like almost like appreciates KingOhger more in a way of just like, I'm glad I have you here always, kind of thing.
Yeah.
And it was really sweet. And I'm like, wow, they could have taken that a couple of different ways, but that was sweet.
And you even see.
And then when they return back to his thing, and Rita, because before they show up, Reculus is like, look, I want you.
Well, he's like, I haven't willingly.
I want all of that to be struck from the records. I don't want people to know this because I don't want it to justify what I've done. Yeah, I have sacrificed so many people. I have done so many terrible things. I don't want to be remembered as a hero. I want to be known as like the worst king ever because what I have done should never be justified by anybody. And honestly, I respect that.
And they
show up and Rita gives the death penalty.
Yeah, but he's like, but not before the Insect King is defeated. So you will be...
No, because here's the thing. The fungi does the thing.
Yeah.
This is when the fungus dude splits open, because he'd been acting a little bit weird recently. Mm-hmm. He splits open, and a new Galactic Insect King pops out. It's how
he can be reborn.
Through this guy, and...
So yeah...
They're just like, hey, worst news we could possibly give.
He's back.
And then that's why they're just like, tell you what, we will...
Still explained better than Palpatine.
Mm-hmm. The fact that this foreign children's show, it's enjoyed by everybody, but technically that is what it's created for. This foreign children's show did a better job at that than fucking Star Wars. But yeah.
And then we pretty much set up what?
We didn't finish.
Okay, go.
So they're just like, tell you what, because the Galactic Insect King guy is back, and I now know all of your emotional package. Um, I'm going to. I think they said like push back the death penalty rather than like
It'll come
negate
another
it.
time.
But we get to use you as a tool
Yeah,
in defeating
I
this.
love that you have Jeremy saying the story of your redemption will now begin.
And
We get this nice shot of Gyra and Reculus shaking hands, and then you have little baby Gyra and baby Reculus.
Redemption arc.
And that's pretty much what we get to see Reculus in the next episode, is just kind of being kind of a fun goofball while just being there.
It's finally like.
But he does
we get
reveal
some
an
fun
epic
stuff.
secret. Because you
Mhm.
find out, because we already technically knew that the crown was the special thing for Gira in the Shugadam kingdom, but we find out all 5 kingdoms, and that includes Rita's freezing power.
Yeah, like
So
we've already kind of seen that. So the others have one as well. Apparently, the original heroes had a great power, and they decided to split in. Like they became the kings, but they decided to split that power between all of them because originally it was one power.
It was too dangerous.
It was too
But it could
dangerous.
pierce the cosmos, some could say.
Mhm.
And then immediately they start getting into an argument after they start looking into it that one needs to be
By the
leader.
way,
But
they're passing Reculus around like what did you call it? It was like a classroom hamster.
yeah, like a class pet.
I want to take him home this week, kind of
yeah,
thing.
he's in a robot costume.
It's sorting gears in that little cage.
Yeah, because Yama's funny.
I love it, and Yama's just living it up, and Gear's just like, you can't do this to my brother.
Yeah, and then like we immediately find out it's a Hirabeer's plot, but they immediately are trying to play this little game where if you pop their ball, they're eliminated. They immediately take out Gyra, and I love Reculus's
Yeah, they all went
face.
for him at the same point. He's just like, aw.
I love Reculus's face.
Yeah, I love seeing him being able to be a part of the goofiness of this show. Again, had a lot of heavy stuff, a lot of explanation, a lot of plot. Let's break it up with some laughs.
And then we also
Take
had
notes,
Rita.
Gachard. I'm sorry.
We had Rita and Jeremy.
Jeremy's like,
Jeremy
"You
holds
don't
up a MUFON in a web, just being like, "You don't want anything bad to happen to this MUFON," and Rita
You know what-
immediately takes themselves out.
Yeah, just like, give me.
Kaguragi and Himino were hilarious though.
Kaguragi straight up cheated of just like
He did.
putting the face of like her mother and her father and like Sebastian and then
And then-
handsome Sebastian and then fat Sebastian.
You mean best
keeps
Sebastian?
she keeps popping them, but like and
They
then he
keep
has like a
coming back.
tiny one that's just like she has both the hammers, is just trying to pop it.
Yeah,
but
and then
it's-
he claps them, and then she's eliminated, and then Gyra falls down for some reason, cause like they just start fighting.
No, Yama shows up and knocks him off because he's like because they all start fighting. Remember?
Yeah, exactly. He's
Did he
like,
get
guys, what are
tossed
you?
over?
He's like, come on, guys. Now all we're doing is just fighting. And yeah, and then I think that's when Yama shows up and lightning zaps people, because you find out that's his power.
He took everyone's like symbol of kingdom, of like rulerness. I don't know. Everyone took their like symbol, like Rita's
Little
wrist thing,
Yeah.
Yama's ear thing, Himino's crown, Kaguragi's necklace,
Gyra's crown.
Gyra's founder's crown. So he could analyze them. He figured his thing out. He's got lightning.
Yeah,
It's awesome.
The
He
power
brought
goes to his head immediately.
Power of Thor. He's immediately like power drunk. Gira falls down. I also
And then
don't
you see
remember how.
everyone else fighting, and everyone else wants to be on top, and then you find out it's a Hirabeer's
Oh, yeah.
plot.
It's a heebie-jeebie plot, and she's like, everyone has to aim for the top. So obviously, that being his goal originally is probably just amped up to 1,000,000.
Well, yeah, and immediately you have Gyra punch him and just
Oh,
be like,
she does mention though. It's just like, oh, because you're a part of his DNA or whatever.
oh, his
I
power
do-
doesn't
my
work.
power doesn't work on you. That's
And that's
lame.
when Kaguragi comes in and just starts being like, and it doesn't work on me either!
Kia
And like...
flips her.
Yeah, and then you see...
They all get
the
encased
king-
in like amber or something.
Yeah, the king starts to, like, putting them in amber, and then Hirabeer's kind of uses her powers on herself and, like, grows big, and then, like, they kill her.
Gira also has to knock some sense into Yama. Just be like, what's wrong with you? I know you want to be on top. You want it for the betterment of the people. Look at what you're doing. He punched the hell out of him.
Yeah, and you see him immediately kind of change heart a lot, and then, like, him and Gyra are the two that defeat Hirabiris with the lightning power in KingOhger, which was awesome.
And just the two of them, too.
Yeah, and then we get the Sextet Alliance.
Oh, wait, hold on. Because here's the thing. Yama goes and he talks to Reculus. He does a little step thing so he can go sit on the cage because he's short and it's cute. But he's just like, when you ruled all of Terra, how did it feel? He's like, awesome.
He's like, I might have gotten drunk with power.
Yeah, like he talked about like it was the best feeling ever, but like because of that I lost that sense of guilt that I had that kept me on the correct track, and the power went to my head. And
yeah.
And Yama is just like originally, because he still fucking hates Reculus, and I don't blame him. But we actually did see him apologize earlier. He got on his knees and said like,
I think that's the next episode.
Oh, is that next?
That's the next episode.
But are you sure? I feel like we saw it earlier.
It might have been. No, because it... Yeah,
See?
no, it's here.
Yeah, because he gets literally is just like, I don't expect you to forgive me, but I'm offering it, you know. And I was just like, don't you get on your knees before I tell you to.
Yeah, exactly.
But and the fact that he kind of relates to Reculus of like, in that moment I felt what you felt, and it's not a good thing. So they actually decide to bring up the alliance again.
The Quintet Alliance. So there is no leader.
So there is no just one leader. It's everyone on equal grounding.
And then you see them...
So that power doesn't go to anyone's head because it's not a good thing to have.
You see them unite their swords, and it shoots a little laser at the king.
Which was awesome.
Yeah.
Also, we see Reculus and Suzume having some really cute moments of just having some dinner together.
Well, why didn't she tell them this? It's like, because they wouldn't have listened to me.
And yeah, rightfully so. Like, he knows the exact position that he's in.
Mm-hmm. And then pretty much this is the last episode we have to talk about, and this is pretty much just setting up for the successors, and it's a Rita and Kaguragi episode, weirdly enough.
Really good also. Funny enough, we got the thing of
wait, I need to get one joke out of the way.
Okay.
I know somebody who may or may not be in the audience, so I'll appreciate this. And Gaira, Yanma, and Himino all become babies! They're babies! Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2. I should have talked about that last year, but I didn't.
Maybe we'll do it again sometime.
Maybe. I'm about to say.
You and Ratfix Dude, is it?
Yes.
Okay, I couldn't remember the name.
But yeah, no, they're literally, like, you have them trying to figure out their powers real quick, because I think it's before they turn into babies that this happens, and you have Kaguragi immediately be like, I want to go first.
I'll go first! And they burst into flames.
Yeah, and you find out pretty much all of the powers of the kings are like almost their opposite, like thunder to destroy the computers, fire to destroy the fields.
Oh my gosh, does that mean Himino's gonna be death and decay or something like that? Oh, she's gonna hate that.
But yeah, like, so to set Kaguragi could not be put out
there
except
was some sort of like pun with like ice and justice, but whatever.
Yeah. And so
Kaguragi's messed up beyond all belief.
Yeah,
They're getting caught on fire.
yeah.
Rita put them out, but like turned into an icicle.
So
Rita puts on like a MUFON Snuggie, and I want it desperately.
They're gonna sell it, don't worry.
I want it. It's probably gonna be like $100.
Then you also have Suzume and Reculus in a cage together.
Yeah, them just like sewing something.
Yeah, and then he pokes himself, and she's just like, "Hey,"
no,
she's like a doctor, and he's just like,
"We need a doctor."
And then you immediately start seeing them.
The mushroom guy, instead of turning them into younger children physically, they reverted their minds back to babies, and we do see
Reculus,
specifically Suzume and Marfonia get shot with a laser, and then these guys got shot with a different one because I guess just to let you know that there is a difference between these two groups, basically.
So
it's
we have
Yanma.
three that get turned into babies.
Yeah, they get turned into mental literal babies.
Yanma is just playing with their sword, hitting the same sound over and over again. And then you have Himino that's just watching with her chrome pacifier.
It's like gold in a jewel. And Gira's crying. He wants his brother.
Well, yeah, he's just like, where's my brother? And then, oh, wait for it. There's a moment where he starts getting upset, being like, oh.
Jeremy gets, how does he get to the castle? I don't remember.
I think they just I think Gaira just runs off.
Yeah, Gaira runs off. And Marfonia is there. And he's like, do something. She's like, no.
No, and then just like...
Why? Why is he saying, someone please do something?
Wait, where?
Because Suzume is trying to stab Reculus in the throat.
Oh, yeah, Reculus...
He's like, and then like Gira gets so incredibly upset to the point where like Kaguragi who's bringing the other babies.
They just see Kuwagon start flying in.
About to crash into the castle, and then it's just like, Reculus, who knows how to deal with baby gear, is just like, look, big brother's okay, I'm fine. And then he like calms down and stops crying. It's so weirdly wholesome because Reculus is just taking care of basically baby Gira, which sounds like he would be like, oh god, and
I like that.
But he's like actually like
he's like, stay on your toes. He might lose it again.
And like you even see him do a cute thing where he's just like he like, I think it's a little bit later, but like Gira starts to have a nightmare in his sleep. He's like, look, Kuwagon in his horns, and he has the little like beetle horn.
Yeah, he was help.
And like Jeremy at some point just like reads to them like the legend.
It's cute.
And it's
and
just
that's right
so
when they
cute.
snap back out of it at the end.
Yeah, it was so cute because he was like rocking him in one of Jeremy's hammocks. And, like, oh my god.
Oh yeah, I forget. We didn't get a shot of what happens at the end, but then we pretty much have Kaguragi and Rita talking about their situation.
Especially
Suzume now wants her wedding annulled.
Yeah, well, no, here's one thing. Because they discovered that there is, like, with being able to unlock these powers, once the alliance had been formed, they all, Agira's just like, hey, I want to make a suggestion. Let's take the fight
to him.
To the Galactic Insect King. Let's take the fight to them. And everyone was just like, no objections. We're in. But that's when they're like, okay, we need to start naming our successors. Because I don't know if they're going into space with the bug rocket ship. Or if maybe...
What's going on?
I don't know if... Because, like, we're getting close to where we basically stopped.
There's 5 episodes left after this.
Yeah, there's 5 episodes left after this. I think this is the last one we watched, right?
Yes, this is 45.
So, we don't quite know what happens after this episode yet, but we do know they're taking the fight to them once they figure out all of their things. So they're trying to figure out who their successors are going to be in case they either A, can't come back, or B, die, I imagine.
Exactly.
So, we see that Rita really wants Morphonia to be their successor, and Kaguragi really wants Suzume to be his.
Yeah.
But remember those rays that we talked about that made the others babies? It turns out this one that Suzume and Morphonia got hit with sent them back only 10 years ago.
Well, it sets them back how... No, they said a little less than 10 years ago.
Like, no more than 10 or something like that.
But, like, it pretty much set
Not long
Suzume...
ago.
It set Suzume on her original plan, which was to try to assassinate Reculus. That was quite literally her job.
So that her brother could take the throne.
And Morphonia just turns back into a convict's child.
Yeah, apparently they were born to 2 convicts in the prison, and then taught her how to lockpick and everything so that they could release them eventually.
And then you find out all she wanted to live in was a nice, peaceful place.
A warm place with good food or something like that?
Yeah, so tofu. She wanted to live in tofu. And, like, and that's when, like, Kaguragi and her were talking to each other.
Mm-hmm. Because, like, here's the thing, like, Morphonia has also gone, again, back to the time where they are not confident in themselves when it comes to being Rita's...
They don't care about anything.
They don't want to, like, they're just like, oh, I can't be Rita's successor because I'm not
They don't want me to be.
But, like, no one would want me to be that.
Yeah.
But Rita and Kaguragi talk, and they decide, like, okay, we both have a similar goal here, and we know how to, I think we can figure out how to go around it. So Rita asks, because they know that is Morphonia's dream, is to be in that situation, like Tofu, where it's like a warm place with, again, I think it's like good food or something along those lines. Can you please just offer them a citizenship? Yeah. Because I know for a fact they are going to sneak onto your B, and they did. And that is exactly what Kaguragi offers. And what is it?
And then Suzume's in with Rita, and they're just being like, yeah, I didn't remember any of this marriage, and I don't want it to be on my record.
Yeah. It's just like, yes, I will annulment, but Kaguragi has made me aware that they want you to be
their successor.
His successor, and they're just like, absolutely. But Rita digs a little deeper, just being like,
but is that really what you
want? Like, and that's kind of what Kaguragi and Rita are doing to their opposites, basically, of just... Kaguragi points out to Morphonia that Rita doesn't
can't say
that they do everything to be neutral. They lie even to themselves.
Well, yeah, they can't tell them that they want you for a successor because that would make you a target and make you it
would make you sad. They know that that's not what you like. If that's not what you want, they're not going to force you.
Exactly.
and the thing with Rita is like Kaguragi wants you to be happy no matter what.
Yeah, so live with Reculus.
So go.
He's okay with it.
Yeah, because like what Marfonia says is just like, I do have a dream of I want to marry for love.
That's Suzume's, yeah.
That's what I said. Oh, did I say Marfonia?
I think you said Marfonia.
Oh, Suzume, it was just I want to marry for love. And that's one of the reasons why I was like, okay, so everything with her and Reculus must have been actually romantic in some way. Because at the very least, it's like she went from I will stab him at the earliest convenience to just, you know, actually being around him and believing in him and being married to him. So if she actually is staying married to him, and obviously once they defeat the monster, their ages all go back to where they were. So now she knows everything. It's like, and she chooses to go back and be married to Reculus, so she must love him.
Yeah, and you even have Marfonia choosing to be
Rita's
heir, and we also
we get this cool shot of Kaguragi and Rita being like
are alike.
We both are alike.
But like it's super funny because it's almost like they're the opposite of each other. One always will stick to the truth, while the other one will never be honest with you.
But for very similar reasons, yeah.
And it fits both characters. But what I also am gonna say is we didn't get any screenshots of it, sadly, but because there's really not much to talk about. We get this awesome team up of them using their powers. Like, I don't even know if we see them fully transformed.
Rita
and like freezes Goruma, I think his name is
Mushroom Man.
Yeah, Goruma.
Let's call him Mario because he's the Mushroom Man.
Yeah. Okay. So he freezes Mario, and like I just kind of like I don't know if he's gonna come back. He might be dealt with. We don't
because
know.
that makes sense.
Because they need to get him out first. Because you want to take out the person who can bring the Galactic Insect King back. But they also were like, but we can't split him in half. Because what happens if that brings another Galactic Insect King?
So what Kaguragi did was Rita's frigidness in this instant, freezing power kept him from getting too hot and catching on fire. But he was warm enough to keep Rita from freezing to death.
Yeah. So she just froze him. So now their powers united allowed them to use both of their powers usefully. And that pretty much is what solves the problem and everyone turns back to normal.
And it looks like the next episode is actually going to be Himino and Jeremy, which is going to be very interesting. Because it makes me wonder, because like Jeremy, like when, because we see a thing where like when they shot the Galactic Insect King in the snoot.
The snoot.
That long droopy snoot. All of their things glowed.
Yeah, they all
glowed.
Yeah,
glued.
Yeah, they made a laser.
They turned light on. But his Jeremy's whole ass thing glue. Well, yeah. And like it's like, oh, that makes sense because that was a memento from his mother who was
from his father.
From his father, right? Who was the king. So it makes me wonder. It's like, okay, we kind of know it's like it's what's going to be their opposites. Electricity fries. Fries computers.
Maybe webs. Maybe his webs are his special power. I don't know.
I don't really know. It makes me wonder what they're gonna do with that.
Yeah.
So I imagine Himino's has got to be some sort. Maybe it'll be connected to like the venom that keeps popping up that's so close to her.
Something
like maybe she
Grody,
has venom or something with Grody. So I guess we'll have to see because that's as far as we are, and we are all caught up. Kind of.
Man,
not really.
These were all so good.
God, KingOhger is so good. Like this is. Look, I know there's probably objectively better shows, but this is my personal favorite show.
Like, it's been so much fun. I like it.
Not even just Sentai, but when it comes to just, like, Toku in general.
You would recommend this to non-Toku fans.
Yes, like, this is just such a great show. It's so fun, and...
Yeah, I just love...
It appeals to, like, my personal interests.
Yeah.
I imagine I've probably gone off about that before, of just really liking the medieval setting, interpersonal relationships, and just really good story, really good suits, art, and costumes, and I'm just like, oh, I'm all in.
All right. Okay. Well,
those
are the episodes, but let's talk about a few
And it's starting
things.
to wrap up, and I'm sad.
So let's talk about this a little bit. First of all, I loved what Reculus did in that last episode.
Oh my god.
Because he was just being fun. He
doesn't have to be a dick anymore, and he's happy about it.
Now let's talk about our favorite characters.
Oh my god.
You know what? No, we're getting too close to the end. Honestly, we're gonna save that. We're gonna save the talk about our favorite characters.
I still feel like that's...
What's your favorite episode out of this bunch?
God, oh god, that's a hard question.
The Secrets of King Reculus are mine. Like that one's mine.
That was just a fantastic episode.
Like that one was just so good set up. And I thought they were gonna kill him and they didn't. Like that was great.
Honestly, the episode where he finally did get to like stab the Galactic Insect King for the first time is probably my favorite.
Yeah, that's that episode. Wait, no, that might
No,
have
that
been
was
the episode before.
I really liked all of like everything getting laid out, but honestly, just the anticipation and that sheer just like pause in time that I felt of just like which way are they gonna go with this character was just delectable.
Meanwhile, the episode
Everything,
before those two
but
were
like that's.
also really good.
But here's the thing: I'm also really tempted to doubt myself and change my answer because everything is just so fucking good. The show is just so fucking good.
Yeah, the episode where you see Gyra get revealed to be why he's immortal was a great episode. I love that shot of Extreme KingOhger and Gyra just standing in defiance of the Galactic Insect King.
Right there.
Like that's so good. It's so much fun. It's so good, so much fun. It's entertaining for me personally. Is this everyone's cup of tea? No. But like, I think this show has a lot of entertainment value and has a lot of fun. It's not perfect, and we just watched the same amount of episodes of Gachard, and
we talked for like twice as long.
Yeah, we talked for it's twice as long, and there's just so many different things that we can tell you about these characters and why we like them. Even our least favorite characters have some moments that we can be like, but we have aspects they like. Like, none of these 7 transformable characters from, like, Kuaga, Ohger to Spider Kumos. Like,
we learned all of the bugs' names.
Oh, yeah.
We learned all the bugs' names, even the little dudes.
Yeah.
Like the spiders and the ladybug and the ant.
Yeah, we'll have to look that up later.
I don't have it memorized.
We'll save that for the wrap-up video.
Man.
But, like,
I do also want to bring, because it's starting to wrap up, I do want to mention one thing, because this is already long, so fuck it. Before we watched KingOhger, we watched The Lord of the Rings.
We mentioned that in the first episode,
Yeah, you watched it for the first time, and I love The Lord of the Rings. I've watched it many times. And you had mentioned that, like, we watched that at, like, the perfect time.
Yeah, it feels like it.
And we've decided that, like, after KingOhger, we're probably gonna watch the extended version since we watched the theatrical versions. But, like, I don't know. Like, because, like, you finally have just such a massive thing of fantasy finally under your belt, and like now you're watching this, and I'm just wondering, like, because you had mentioned it yourself, it's just like what are your feelings with like comparing those two almost like
they just both feel like very well lived in worlds with like a bunch of lore that we may not know and may never find out. In Lord of the Rings you definitely find out. Now if they wanted to do a 2,000 year like story with Jeremy and you seeing what the ages he went through, I would definitely watch it.
I would be okay with KingOhger going on forever.
Yeah.
like it just being like a thing of just like, oh, well, we wrapped up this story, so let's tell this story. Oh, yeah, we wrapped up this.
Let's go back 2,000 years ago.
Yeah, and like I would be fine with it.
Does KingOhger count as a prequel?
I'm just like, okay, oh, they're old, well, let's bring in some heirs. Like I don't know. I'd watch it forever. It would be my sitcom that would go on for 20 years, and I'd be fine with it.
It's so good and so original. And, like, that's what I think I like about it a lot.
God, it has all of the things that I love.
But, I don't know. So it's like we said, what was your guys' favorite episode? Tell us down in the comments. What were some of your favorite moments? What do you guys think of Reculus's twist? Do you guys like that he's going to be a good guy? Are you guys upset that he's kind of not? But I do like the reasoning of why they did it.
Oh, wait, did we mention that they killed the Leech Girl? The Leech Girl's dead.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
I don't know if we actually fully said that. She's dead.
Yeah, she died.
She died.
So we only have 2 jesters left.
Good riddance.
Yeah, good riddance to both of them.
Hope you had the time of your life.
So
Goodbye.
Kame Jim and Grody are the only 2 left.
Dang.
They are the only 2. But like I know there are going to be some people mad that Reculus it turned out to be good, but I actually think it makes a lot of sense, and I like a lot of what they did because it's simple. Because it's like he can't tell anyone anything because he's always being watched. He knows, but technically, somebody could say, "Well, aren't they all being watched?"
It's he acknowledges the fact that, like,
yeah, but
he was like, "But I got that power, and it went to my head. Like,
yeah, exactly.
I was a dick, and like there were times, and he even acknowledges the fact of just like I shouldn't be redeemed in the eyes of the law and the people because I've done some messed up stuff, they should never think that I'm a good person because of all the things that I did.
Like nothing should justify the crimes I committed because they're that heinous.
Mm-hmm.
It's like even those for the greater good because that gives people the thought of being like, well, you can do shitty things because it's for a greater purpose. He's like, I don't think that's a good idea. And
no one should ever have to go through what I did.
Exactly, and
no one should ever have to like have the repercussions of someone doing the things I do. Because there's got to be at least one like previous Shogunam king that just reveled in the fact that he could be a bastard. Like it.
Exactly, but I liked what they did with Regulus's character. Like, it doesn't get rid of his sinisterness early on, but it also just allows you to have, because like that's something I love that they did. It was always the mirroring of how similar Regulus and Gyra are from day one. Even that episode, the episodes between their trials by combat were so similar, and they were mirrors to each other. And Gyra and Regulus have been mirrors this whole time. They both were pretending to be villains to form for the greater good. But Gyro was doing it from the right place, while Regulus knew the crimes he was committing were wrong. So it's kind of one of those things where he doesn't care that he's going down as the worst king in history, but that's because he needs to show that the crimes that he did need to be told that they were wrong. And so it...
Very mature stance, honestly. Like, they could have easily just been like, he's a good guy now. Yay!
Like...
But, like, no, like, they took it just like a... No, like, this is deeper than that. The wounds go deeper than that.
Exactly, because it's something I really do appreciate, and
I can't wait to watch more.
Yeah, exactly. I can't believe it's almost over, and I can't wait to see how it finishes.
Are you sad as I am?
But yeah, tell us down in the comments what you guys want to see, and I don't know. Tell us your favorite moments. Tell us your least favorite moments down in the comments.
This was a long one. Thank you if you stayed the whole time. If you listened all the way through, congratulations. That's a lot of us to handle. Talking about KingOhger.
This was a lot of KingOhger.
I love KingOhger. I could talk about it for like
hopefully
2 more
we can
hours.
get more back on track, but we definitely still have a couple more episodes. We're probably going to have plenty of episodes to talk about next time.
All right. Thanks so much for listening.
And until whatever we talk about next, until next week.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.